me. Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. I've got a guest on, a friend of mine that was a subscriber, has become a really good friend, started an awesome YouTube channel. I'm sure most of you guys know him. It's Chris Taylor from Financial Fitness. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, brother.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on. The reason why I have Chris on right now is because he has some very serious warnings. He's been digging through all of the news to bring you the most recent and updated news. So with that being said, if you have not followed him, go and take a look at him at Financial Fitness and give him a like and a share. And a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. Sorry, there's so many things floating through my head and I don't even know which video is going to come out first because we're going to do two because there's so much news going on. But this involves animals and our food supply. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and share a screen real quick. And I'm going to start with the first video right here. Or sorry, the first headline. And that is a outbreak. Oh, come on now. Why does I want to do it? Here we go. More than 120,000 pounds of ground beef have just been recalled in a nationwide during an E. coli possible outbreak. So I'm going to throw out a couple of things and me and Chris are going to talk about it. It says the recall includes ground beef products sold across the US under a number of different brand names. Okay. So I'm going to link this story below so you guys can go through. If you guys have been purchasing food right now, getting ready for this food shortage, it's already started and it's going to get worse. I want you to know about this. It says right here, the announcement on Monday explained that products sold by Lakeside Refrigerated Services out of New Jersey may have been contaminated with the bacteria. And going down here in the article, it explains what labels and how to find the affected products. And I don't want to waste your time with that. So that's very important news. I wanted to get it to you. Now, Chris, you have a couple stories you wanted to share and you were going to talk about them and I was going to pop them up on the screen.
Yeah, that sounds good. But one thing on this is nobody has been sick yet from E. coli. The USDA found it on their inspection they do on meat. So we're just taking their word for it, that there's E. coli in this meat. It's 120,000 pounds of meat that we're not going to get to consume. And I'd like to throw out the solution. You can buy a whole cow, ribeyes, burger meat, the whole thing, or half a cow from a farmer that you create a relationship with, and you can get that meat for less than $5 a pound. Yeah. So it's way cheaper to buy in bulk and it will freeze for a long time. I'm trying to throw solutions out there as we go.
That's a really good idea. And you're helping the farmer. And if more people were to go directly to the farmer, we would see that industry explode. And what it would do is eventually bring down the prices even more.
Okay. So the next one, you got it pulled up already?
Yeah, let's do it. Trout.
Yeah. The trout situation. Bacteria infects trout hatcheries, prompting fish kills. This is really the first I heard of this was just a while ago. And a bacteria outbreak in the Black Rock and Fish Springs trout hatcheries will mean hundreds of thousands of catchable trout will be killed instead of stocked in eastern Syria waters before this week's opening of fishing season. The outbreak and resultant euthanization of up to 670,000 trout has California Department of Fish and Wildlife managers scrambling to contain the disease in the hatcheries. The department will also be looking to its other trout hatcheries to bolster its Eastern Syria stocking program. Now, I don't know anything about Eastern Syria trout being in California, but 670,000 trout, that's craziness. I don't know. It seems like these diseases are coming faster and faster. We used to talk about one thing at a time. Now we're covering three at one time because there's so many.
Well, so we have actually a trout fishing derby coming up at my work here this weekend, actually. And the trout were shipped in and dropped off. And I actually grew up as a child in the Sierras where this is actually happening, fishing for rainbow trout. And how we got our trout was the flumes and the rivers were actually stocked. And not a lot of people think about that. They think that these rivers just have an abundance of fish, but actually there is a lot of amazing work that goes on in fish hatcheries. And they breed these fish in the perfect conditions where a lot of people say, oh, it's horrible what they're doing. But quite frankly, they're in the business to make money. They're not in the business to kill fish. So they actually make these amazing spots where these fish breed and they make tons of fish. They sell them, they put them in the lakes and streams, which again, hopefully breeds more fish. So like what Chris is saying right here with 670,000 trout and it's in California. And I guarantee you we're going to get some people going, it's California. Who cares? You should care because like Chris said, it seems like it was one-off events, but it's things in the food supply. And Chris is going to get into another story that is attacking us not only all over the nation, but all over the world. And every single time something hits our food supply, that means there's that much less food available or calories to consume for the human race. And the human race isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So I want to make sure that people understand, even as small of a story as this is, we need to paint the big picture. So Chris, there was another story you wanted to go over too, right?
Yes. The Japanese encephalitis outbreak that's happening in Australia. This is probably the biggest story of this episode. Detected in dozens of pig farms, pork supply set to plunge never seen this far south. So it's in a different area this time. They've seen it before, but not quite this bad.
Yeah.
Experts say Japanese encephalitis will impact pork supply as infected piggeries experience production losses up to 80%. That's wild, man. There are now 30 in New South Wales piggeries affected by the mosquito-borne virus, and 11 people have been infected. I found that to be really odd that people were starting to get affected by this thing. And I looked up the symptoms, and I'm just not going to go there. It's pretty gnarly. With three deaths nationwide. Let's see. Here's some quotes. I always try to read the quotes. They've had huge impacts on production, up to 60 to 80% of production impacted in some sites. Quote, it's also the mental health implication of the people because there's been a lot of stillborn abortions or abnormalities in piglets, which can be very stressful seeing day in and day out.
Yeah. So this is very serious stuff. And I'm going to unshare the screen here. I think people need to realize this. We are in very serious times, and Chris has been on the forefront of this, ever since he started covering the bird flu in, what was that, November, end of November?
Yes.
Yeah. And a lot of people in this world are completely clueless. They're like too busy watching Johnny Depp on, put gummy bears. Now we're watching Johnny Depp put gummy bears on his boy, this is so crazy. People are nuts. All right. Let's call a spade or a Depp a Depp. They're nuts. And the facts are this is going to get worse. And you're watching this on this channel and on channels like Financial Fitness and the other channels that are part of Ninja Nation. You're seeing this first before the masses do. So with that being said, let's talk about some things we could do, Chris, because my thing is you could literally simply go down to the store this week and go, I'm going to go clip some coupons because there still are some sales out there. Pretty soon there won't be sales, even though today's sales are like, 2 months ago's normal price. What are some things people can do, Chris, to take advantage of having this information in front of them right now?
Well, you automatically know food's going to be a problem.
Yep.
Food at the end of this next year and next year, I think it's going to be really bad. It's going to be a global thing. I went over 20 reasons the other day why we're going to have a food problem. And it's not me saying it. It's the leaders of governments are freaking out. They don't know where they're going to get their fertilizer from. They don't know how they're going to grow the corn and all the wheat and everything else to feed their people and their animals. I mean, this thing is going to be really, really big. I know China's got 150% of their food supply stored up. Yeah. We've got like 40%. I mean, we're not going to be near as bad off as these third world countries are, like Africa and places like that. It's going to be sickening to watch what happens there over these next couple of years.
Another thing that I think about too is, first off, beef prices are exploding. We know that. And we know the powers that be don't want you eating beef because it produces testosterone and keeps you, willing to fight. Let's just call a spade there. Pork is enjoyed by lots of people because it is a cheaper alternative to beef. And so right now, if you think about it, you're losing for all of the pigs dying right now, let's say in Australia or wherever they are right now from this disease. That means those people that usually eat those pigs are going to want it. And so they're going to start to look to import that. And so it is going to, no matter where you are in the world, when a certain percentage of animals die, the prices are going to go up. So now the white meat, the pork that is usually, lots of people like because the price is low, is now going to be affected even higher.
Yeah, when you take away from something, it takes away from somewhere else. It's and people say all the time, well, you shouldn't be eating pork. Well, that doesn't work like that, because the people that are going to eat pork are going to be eating your lentils.
What about the vegetarian? Yeah, the vegans and the vegetarians. Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't eat meat. I'm like, oh, get ready. We're coming for that. I mean, it's just true. It's like all of a sudden everyone's going to become a salad eater because that's all you got, because the cost of things. And that's what we've got to pay attention to. We've got insane disruptions in the markets right now. Chris was just talking about meats being killed off, right? Then we're also talking about fertilizer shortages, which means we have issues with vegetables and produce. You can't make this up, guys. Now, in closing, Chris, what are some of the comments that you've been seeing on your channel that have been affecting you the most when it comes to these shortages? Anything come to mind?
No, man. For the most part, the people in my comments are paying attention. Every now and then I'll get you're a fearmonger, even though everything I'm saying is, facts. It's all facts when it comes to food shortages. And
or a loosh, they could call you that too.
Loosh, yeah. Loosh. It's just, there's so much news out there, and I'm not saying I get it all right.
Yeah.
But you can only go by the information you get, and I try to stay away from some things like the war, because there's so much propaganda on that. It's unbelievable. But that's another food crisis, the breadbasket of Europe. That's going to be a really, really big deal.
It's funny. I just did a video and put it out on sugar. How do we make money from sugar? And right after I did the video, I thought, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy some out of the money call options on some sugar ETFs. And I found one called Cane. The ticker is CANE. And I went ahead and bought it. And another YouTuber, Johnny Bravo, hit me up in the comment section. He goes, hey, Ninja, if you want to make some money off sugar, do Cane. And I'd already bought it. And I don't remember, Chris, if I told you this morning, but I literally looked back an hour and a half later and I'm up 80% on my out of the money call options. And so there is, it's one thing to be prepared. Then it's all of a sudden, okay, I'm prepared. A lot of people ask me that in my comments. Like, look, Ninja, I've already stored up food. I've paid off my real estate. I own gold and silver. What do I do now? And it's like, start crushing it. Like, if there's food shortages, buy the options, because the crazy people, the big boys on Wall Street are going to do it. So that's why not have our subscribers be a part of that and being able to make money. That's not financial advice, but I mean, 80% in one day, that's not bad for a trade.
Yeah, you get to take advantage of it. And if you're in a position where you can not be part of the problem, you get to be part of the solution.
Amen.
If you're part of the problem, you don't get that chance.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Chris. I really agree. So guys, we want to close on this one, and I want to thank Chris for coming on. Chris, where can they find you on the internet?
If you want these stories that me and my wife's always finding stuff. She's digging around. I have a Telegram channel, Financial Fitness 318. And I post everything there before I even talk about it. I mean, there's stuff going up there all the time. Financial Fitness 318 on Telegram. And I have a YouTube channel teaching men and women of all ages how to weld and make money with their hands to we're coming back to the trades. And in my opinion, tradesmen are going to be extremely sought after in the future, even more so than they are now. If you can imagine that, if you had a plumber out lately, you know what I'm saying? And I have a financial fitness channel that I cover, me and Ninja cover about the same stuff, but it's always a different topic.
That's right. Well, hey guys, check out his welding channel. If you've ever been interested in welding, that channel is growing exponentially. It's crushing it. Thanks, Chris, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. With that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.